Well, that didn't take long. I said I'd make a video on what I thought might happen in the 5-day exclusive signing window in the PWHL for the two expansion teams. Every time I tried to analyze what was happening, another signing came through. Basically, both teams signed their maximum of 5 players within the first 3 days here. So you probably had your opinion on who they might target, and before you even had too much time to think about it, some of them were already signed. We knew pretty much that some of the bigger names like Hillary Knight and Sarah Nurse would be taken right away. So on the very first night, the first thing we got wind of was that, wow, a pair of defenders from the Minnesota Frost would both be signing with Vancouver. 2 Canadian defenders, Claire Thompson and Sophie Jakes. So Claire Thompson on her 1-year contract, and Sophie Jakes got an extension, so she is now signed to a 3-year contract, and I'm sure she got a pretty nice raise. Minnesota was then able to add a 4th protected player to their team, and they chose Britta Curl-Salemi. I'm just gonna put that here and leave it. I don't think that would have been my choice. I'll just put it that way. I don't think she would have been signed. I'll also add in here just a snippet from the interviews that we had with them later in the week to find out what they thought about joining their new teams.
Alongside Sophie, we'll be able to bring some of that to Vancouver, and the team's already looking fantastic with the players that we have. And I think throughout the expansion draft and then the incoming players draft, I think it'll be really exciting to put a group together that I think will definitely be able to challenge for and hopefully win the Walter Cup.
And Seattle didn't take long to respond. The same night, they signed the one and only Hillary Knight, captain, original signing, basically top points leader, co-top points leader in the entire PWHL, just off to Seattle.
I haven't been to Seattle many times, but the times I have been, it's been outstanding. So when this opportunity came along, I was like, I would love to get to Seattle. Just so excited. I can't wait for puck drop.
And even though we had sort of heard about it, it wasn't announced until shortly afterwards officially that Emrance Mashmeyer had signed with Vancouver. So they lock up their number 1 goalie, and they're still keeping it Canadian. And on the Seattle side, we had heard that Danielle Serdachny was basically one of their first signings. So they locked her up on a 2-year deal.
I think you can see through social media, through the different audiences, like the record-breaking crowds, just how passionate the fans are about women's hockey and how excited they are for it. So playing in a new city, I think, will be amazing, and hoping we can kind of help contribute to building a great fan base here in Seattle.
With those 2 players from Ottawa leaving, the Charge could then activate their 4th protected player, and fans were really happy that they chose to protect Gabby Hughes and add her to their list of locked up players. But wait, there's more. It didn't end there. Seattle grabbed one of the prize gems that we were all looking at, which is Kayla Barnes, and she got a 3-year contract to go back out west where she's from, and in fact she addressed that during the press call.
Being from the West Coast, super excited to be closer to home, closer to family, and be able to grow the game out there. So really looking forward to working with the staff and these amazing players that have already signed and get things going.
What a great signing, and just a great player. Really happy for her and for the Seattle fans to be able to see this talented defender play. They're trying to match what Vancouver did on their blue line. And then another of the bigger names that we just knew would be taken was Sarah Nurse, and her 1-year contract moves to Vancouver. So there's Nursey off to Vancouver with that all-Canadian club, and not long after, it's hometown girl and Montreal Victoire standout Jen Gardner, who gets to return home. It just such kind of mixed feelings that she seems really thrilled to be joining there.
For me, coming home and getting the opportunity to play in Vancouver was a no-brainer as well. It was just something that I wanted to be a part of.
And yet that pair of Barnes and Gardner split up from their friend and mentor Erin Ambrose. But with that, Montreal was able to protect Erin Ambrose. And then the very next day, the 5 each signings were completed, with Seattle locking in on 2 amazing players from New York. So they got Alex Carpenter on her 1-year deal, and then they added Corrine Schroeder as their number 1 goalie, and she got a 2-year contract. So that was I don't know if that was surprising. They could have probably waited to take a goalie because they knew Vancouver wasn't going to do that, but why not lock up one of the bigger names and get her on board? So their roster looks really good. Here's a quick look at how they're both shaping up at this point. And then New York, also with those 2 signings, were able to add their next protected player, and they chose defender Maya Nyland Pearson. They need to keep their blue line intact, so they're doing that. So there's what happened. And, reading some of the comments and checking social media, it's pretty apparent that this is a difficult process for fans of existing teams. It seems like Seattle and Vancouver fans are trying to hide their glee, like kids stealing presents at a birthday party. They're not suffering any losses. They're just watching the goodies stream in and anticipating even more. So much fun for them. For fans of the existing teams, though, there was just heartbreak after heartbreak, even though they knew it was coming. So that's my wrap up of what's happened so far and kind of the picture going into the expansion draft. Here's a look at the player pool that Seattle and Vancouver will be looking to choose from on Monday night. And by the way, you can watch it on YouTube or on the PWHL website. Who do you think, is now really in a prime target area for the 2 teams? Were you surprised with any of these 5 signings each? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for keeping up with me and, following me on social media. By the way, if you're enjoying this, hit the thumbs up, and thank you so much for, commenting and keeping the discussion going. This has been a big process for us all to go through, and we're trying to keep you up to date on all of it. So thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.